Yo, what up? My name's Don, and today we're going to be talking about the Campfire chat that the Diablo team had earlier today, speaking about some of the changes that were coming for Season 5 of Diablo 4. So, I have some notes here that I'm going to be talking through. I just wanted to go through some of my thoughts on some of the things they said. So, show some footage on screen. And so, without further ado, let's hop right in. So, for season 5, they were speaking about the new PvE event coming in, another endgame event to do. They said they wanted to flesh out endgame. So, a new thing coming in is something called Infernal Hordes. They said you're going to unlock it with a quest line starting in Zarbinzet. The key that you're going to get for the Infernal Hordes to enter the event is going to be called an Infernal Compass. It says they said, sorry, that this is a wave based event or a wave based mode that goes to a boss encounter at the end. They're all going to have a starting mob level. I believe that increases, and when you're inside, there's 8 levels of difficulty. I believe that's correct, with increasing challenges and rewards. They're also going to have a consumable item called Abyssal Scrolls that upgrade the Infernal Compass key, which is the key that you use to enter. And the Abyssal Scrolls, with that upgrade, it puts the Infernal Compass key to the next tier. This is going to be an event that's available to play on the patch test realm, and I do have some footage here that I'm going to play on screen for you, and it is right here. So here's showing the quest starting in Zarbinzet. It's also showing the Abyssal Scroll there. Right there, it's showing that the player used the Infernal Compass key. It's going to bring up a dungeon for them. They'll be able to enter the dungeon. The whole theme for this season is returning to hell. So you can see the dev there talking about it. Or bring me back up on screen. It sounds like a really cool theme. I'm really happy that we're sticking with the whole, kind of like Diablo theme, returning to hell, instead of them bringing in something like they did for what was it, season 1 or 2? I think it was season 1, when the whole theme was vampires, which didn't really catch on for me. But I think that's going to be really cool. I think that endgame needed to be fleshed out. I think they really needed something, like they said in the Campfire chat, that was repeatable, that was fun, and that gave you just another thing to do, not only to level up, but another kind of game loop to get into at endgame. Let's bring my notes back up here. Um, I can show you some of the wave-based footage in a moment, starting from wave 1. It is going to drop you a new currency called Burning Aether, and it is specific to this region. They said specific to Hell. You're going to use this currency to unlock rewards at the end, because it is going to give you a choice. So one thing is that at the end of each wave, there is an what they called an infernal offer, where you pick one of 3 hands rising up from the ground that you're going to see in the game right now. You're going to choose a boon or a bane, which is basically a positive and a negative, which goes into the next wave, and you'll be able to upgrade these specific same boons and banes. I'm not calling them that. That's what they referred to them in game in the Campfire chat. So we'll get that footage up on screen right now. That is going to be right here. So you can see the player there fighting the boss. As soon as the boss goes down, sorry, for wave 1, or sorry, I think you started out with just I guess a mini boss at the start, just to kind of get things kicked off. You're gonna see that they're gonna complete wave 1 here, and then after wave 1 is finished. By the way, I just want to see. I love that there's a survival type event in the game. You can see the 3 hands. They are hands reaching up from hell, and each one is going to give a different boon and bane, or positive and negative. You can pause if you need to read what they said. But I think that's pretty cool. Right away, you can see wave 2 starts. And, I can't wait to get into this. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Um, the Soul Spires, I believe, are what you are going to kill to get um, the Burning Aether, and you're going to use that to open up the chests at the end. So that's just a little glimpse of the game mode. It looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. I can't wait to play it. I'll love to know what you guys think of this. If you guys did watch the Campfire chat. But if you didn't, here's a first look at it. I also love, again, the theme that we're returning to hell, and there's just a ton of demons. I can't wait to see how difficult this gets with the 8 levels of increasing difficulty that they talked about. Someone did ask in the Campfire chat what is kind of the equivalent pit level, that these would be. But of course, it was hard to gauge. So the dev did try to give an answer, but who really knows until we get a chance to get in there ourselves and test it out. Um, Next up on my notes is so the soul spires are upgradable. Those are the hands. Those are the hands you choose. Just to clarify what I said a couple seconds ago, the soul spires are the hands that you choose, and I guess you're able to choose, I guess, the same one over and over again to upgrade that specific positive and negative effect. There are going to be new bosses attached to this zone. And one of the new bosses, or I guess group, it's like a boss event, but there's multiple bosses within it, is actually going to be the Fell Council from the end of Act 3. When you're making your way through the temple. Um, right before you go down into the endurance of hate, when you're making your way down towards Mephisto, there was the Fell Council, and I believe they kept referring to 5, but I think there was 7 of them, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it's really cool that they're bringing them back. I want to show some footage on screen of them. These are the council members. If you're an old Diablo 2 player, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They have footage of them that I'm going to bring on screen right now for you. They look super awesome. Like I was saying, here they are. Absolutely sick renditions. So, the only one's name that I could remember was Ishmael or Ismail. And I believe I remember him because, if I'm not mistaken, he was the one with the lightning arm. And, and he absolutely hurt. If he wasn't the one with the lightning arm, I definitely remember the one with the lightning arm, which was the bluish one that you saw there. And all I know is that these guys are going to hurt if they made them any near remotely as strong as they were in Diablo 2. But like, hats off to the devs. They look absolutely amazing. They look absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to fight them in the game. And once again, just to put them back on screen, I can't wait to fight them. Like, look at the detail in these guys. I'm a little bit scared of them. Obviously, they all have the different elements: fire, lightning. Who else do we have there? I'm not too sure, but there is also footage of the player fighting these bosses. So I'm going to put that up on screen right now. The player is fighting. This is the same sorceress that we've seen in the last couple of clips. They will be fighting Ismail, the accursed, Mafra the cruel, and Wyand the shadow. So you can see this event. Now, they did say that they have, I think, 5 of the council, I guess, finished in the game, or in PTR at least. You can see Geleb the Flame on the left here, Brem the Maelstrom, and Wyand the Shadow. And it's a different combination of bosses. They basically said you're going to be fighting 3 at a time with 2 in reserve. And because they're doing it this way, there are currently 10 different boss combinations that you'd be able to fight, which I think is absolutely sick. I can't wait to see how they all complement each other. What's going to be the kind of the doomer combination, the one that everybody's going to be afraid to fight. Uh, I can't wait. I can't wait to find out what the dangerous one is and what the easiest one is. So you can see, once the player kills these bosses at the end here, you can see the 2 chests that were on the ground here. They're both 25 burning aether, and it gives you a choice, one or the other, which is really cool. Spoils of gold. You can also choose a chest. They did explain the choices in these chests. One is going to be a chest that is full with uh one is legendaries and uniques. You can get legendaries and uniques out of one. One is going to be crafting materials, including masterworking materials. So they said you are not bound only to the pit anymore to get masterworking materials. And now the third one that the player kind of paused on for a second, which is one of straight gold, because the feedback from them is that players are asking for another source to get gold rather than just doing whispers at the tree over and over and over again. And also a chest that guarantees a greater affix. They're toying around with that idea, and that's going to be pretty cool. I'm not sure what impact all these new ways to get legendary uniques and working materials and gold and greater picks is going to affect the game, but I think it's just going to be a positive thing. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. I can hope it's a positive thing. I think it's going to be a positive thing, but you never really know until boots are on the ground and everything's running. So, let me know what you guys think of that one. What you guys think of the whole Infernal Hordes event. As well, one thing to note is that the fight escalates as you kill the bosses. So as you kill the first boss, the second two will get stronger. As you kill the second one out of three, the third one is going to get stronger, which I think is an awesome kind of effect. I think it was actually the same thing when you fought the ancients. They seem to be taking a lot of inspiration from Diablo 2, which is obviously very cool. Um, the uh, what is it? I wonder if we talked about. Okay, I didn't mention it yet, but another thing that they're going to be doing is providing another way, I guess, more ways, including from the Infernal Hordes, more ways for you to get uniques. They said that they're going to be adding target farmable uniques to Helltide chests, to Whispers, and as well to the Obol vendor. So if you go to the Obol vendor and you want to target farm a unique helm, you can just buy helms from the Obol vendor with the chance to get a unique helm. As well as if you want to target farm helms or some other item type in Helltide, you just go to the Helltide chest that is of the helm type, and you know what I mean. You have a chance to get unique, which I think is pretty cool. They did say they did include the Helltide as a new thing for the unique target farmable. Um, it's probably just the target farmable part that's new because I have got uniques from Helltide chests, so I'm not sure if that's just a luck of the draw, completely random thing. But it is cool that you can target farm them now. Now, they are also introducing some new uniques to the game. They did give a glimpse of some of the uniques, not all of them, but some of the uniques, and I'm going to put some of them on screen right here for you. So let's get this one here. So first was the Basilisk, um, which is a staff for the druid that petrifies the targets. So I like first and foremost how they're introducing more uniques to the game. I'll give you guys a special little tidbit at the end of this. That one was for druids. This one is called the Third Blade. This one is for barbarians. Basically, your weapon mastery skills are now your core skills that have no cooldowns but cost fury instead, dealing 66 or up to 70%, 50 to 70% of your normal damage, and their fairy costs are now reduced by 5 for any additional charges the skill would have had. This is really cool. I can't, think off the top of my head because I'm just so excited for new uniques, how this is going to impact new builds, but there's going to be a ton of new builds coming in. This one, the Mortar Crux, is for the Necromancer. Basically, when consuming a corpse, there is a up to a 30% chance, 10 to 30% chance to create a decaying skell simulacrum that seeks enemies. Basically, a skeletal bomb. It cannot attack, but when it dies, it explodes for up to 5.5 thousand shadow damage, which of course is going to be affected by other multipliers of shadow damage multipliers. This effect is treated as a macabre skill, which is can be taken into account on how to maximize its damage. This one is for rogues called the Umbra. Casting a subterfuge skill also spawns an enemy shade totem, which you can cast two of. It lasts from 3 to 8 seconds. Any damage it takes is replicated onto surrounding enemies at 30% effectiveness. So I was immediately thinking this would be really sick for PvP. Obviously, you cast them, in kind of a figure eight, kind of beside each other, and even on top of each other. And if somebody, I don't know how much rogues use thorns, but if somebody tries to stomp on you, the damage is just gonna get thrown right back to them. This one is for Sorks is called a Vox Omnium. Casting a core skill additionally fires 2 instances of a basic skill, Firebolt, Frostbolt, or Spark, matching the elements of your last 2 non-core skill casts. It's crazy that on top of that, these projectiles are going to deal 30 to 90% multiplicative damage. Let me say that again, 30 to 90% multiplicative damage. So they were saying you can cast basically every spell type, which is going to be insane. I'm so excited to I want to roll some of these other classes, but they're going to have to give me more than 12 character slots. This one is for all the characters. It's called Rakanot's Wake. Basically, it's straightforward. They said basically when you cast a skill with a cooldown, you explode, dealing from 4 to 12,000 fire damage. This is going to be affected by other aspects and stuff like that that affect your fire damage. But it's just a straightforward, they said just bathe enemies in fire type ability. So it's cool to see all these new uniques. They did mention that there is going to be, and here's the special part, they did mention that there's going to be up to 50 new uniques added into the game, not 15, but 50, which is absolutely crazy. I was like, "Excuse me?" And that was actually one thing that I was talking about just a couple days ago, which is that I wanted to see more uniques in the game in general, just because I feel like when when the top players pretty much have, say, like the 5 to 7-ish builds that, and it's like 5 to 7-ish builds total. Maybe there's more than that, but it's like 5 or less that are like the S tier builds for every class. Maybe it's like 2 to 3, 1 to 3 builds, right? And with there being a lot more uniques added into the game, it's just going to really open up the amount of possibility and builds where I feel like, personally, I know for myself, but I feel like this may be true for other people as well, where they won't look so much to the like, oh my god, I need to have the exact same items as one of these three builds that these master players made, otherwise I'm no good. I like that there's going to be 50 new uniques. Like, oh my goodness, that you know they're saying in the campfire talk, and I agree with this as well, is that the ideology or the mindset that they want players to have a couple uniques in their endgame builds, I agree with entirely, entirely, right? To have an endgame build that's all legendaries with aspects on them just makes uniques feel pointless. So one of the things they talked about is, what is the purpose of uniques? Now, in this video, I just wanted to focus on some of the new things that they're introducing. But in the next video that I make tomorrow, you can expect that I go into more of the balance changes that they were talking about, some of the class changes that they were talking about, a lot of the quality of life changes that they were talking about, and more of the nitty gritty that they really discussed in the second half of the campfire chat. In this video, I just wanted to kind of focus on the new things that they talked about. The footage of the new items is absolutely cool. I can't wait to see them in game. Like, honestly, just I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I think that's one of the things I'm most excited for is the new uniques. Now, I think I have footage of more unique footage coming up here. Let's see. It is now, okay, they did mention that there are also going to be mythic uniques. Now, the mythic uniques, I'm gonna talk more about tomorrow because that kind of fits more into the back half of of the video with more of the quality of life updates. But I did mention earlier that uniques are going to be target farmable from oval vendors, health eye caches, whisper caches. I think I've got some footage on that. Let me just see here. uh, quality of life updates. Yes, we have those. So, mythic uniques. I believe what they are referring to is Uber's, Shaco, and Dario's Visage, um, Grandfather, etc., etc., Doombringer. I think the Salig's Amulet, I believe that is, also going to be uh I think that's what they're calling mythic uniques. Uber uniques. I'm so used to calling them Uber uniques. I'm like mythic uniques. As soon as they said that, I was like, my brain's like, huh? So, anyways, um, Hell Tides is one more thing. They said they were gonna beef up. I don't have any footage of that, but I mean it's just Hell Tide footage. This fits in a quality of life update, but I do want to touch on this. They said they were gonna be basically beefing up Hell Tides, whereas they're going to be getting more whispers. I'm not sure who was complaining about this, but their feedback is apparently that people are having trouble completing a full whisper bar in a Hell Tide, or, and I quote, things where people had to leave the Hell Tide to complete a whisper, come. I'm just like, okay, I'm not sure why people felt the need that Helltide needed to be changed as that's the best source of whispers. You can literally just run through a dungeon in like 2 minutes once you get to a decent power level at end game. Like if you can run like Nightmare Dungeon like 50, 60, 70, like you can run, if even like 50, you can do a regular dungeon in like seconds, like seconds. You don't have to kill every mob, just run through and do the goals, whatever you have to do, and get it done in like 2 to 3 minutes. So and all you have to do is two dungeons, right? It's five whispers each. So I'm not really sure. Like if you can get a full bar in like less than 10 minutes total, I'm not sure what the issue is here. So I just don't see the need for the solution that they came up with, which is to have so much whisper cache stuff in the Helltide. Not that that's a bad thing, but they want to fill a whisper bar in 15 minutes. You can already do that. You're just able to do that now in Helltide. That's not a bad thing. I just think that maybe people didn't realize how easy it was to already do this. So um, having more sources to do this, I can't complain about that. I guess if I don't have to leave Helltide and be able to do Helltide and get Cinders at the same time that I'm getting Whisper stuff. Cool. Awesome. Now, other Helltide changes that I will get into tomorrow. Baneful Hearts from Hell Maidens are being decreased. They're saying basically people just carrying too many hundreds of them, and they just want that to be more of a valuable resource. And with tempering, they are trying to reduce RNG and stuff like that. Again, these are all some quality of life things that I will get into tomorrow. It was really awesome to see the new footage of the Infernal Hordes. It was really cool to see the new bosses, at least like it's new bosses, but it's like one boss encounter. So I'm talking about the Fell Council. It was really cool to know that they're coming back. Again, they're taking so much inspiration from Diablo 2. Um, Even the fact that you're now able to target farm uniques from the Obel vendor, which was basically the gambler, like the gambling vendor in Diablo 2, right? Geed. Now, you I don't know if you could ever target farm uniques from Geed and Diablo 2, but you definitely had a chance of getting unique from him. I'm pretty sure, if I can remember correctly. So it's just cool that they're bringing that into Diablo 4 and giving you more choices to do things overall. I love this whole idea of fleshing out endgame. I think if they even one thing I mentioned in my um I think I mentioned it in my last Diablo video, which was complaining about RMT, which was that I want to see the PvP uh, aspect of Endgame filled out. I think that there's absolutely room for PvP to have events, weekly events, and leaderboards themselves. So here's just an idea that I came up with the other day, which is that you could have um, in the PvP towns that are in the game already. It doesn't have to be in the open world zones, but in the PvP towns, you could like have an instance area. Say it's a bar, right? Like they could treat it like a fight club thing. So you go, you maybe even go into the inn, and there's a vendor there that you know says something akin to like a fight club. So that's where like the instanced PvP zone is, and you go in there for 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4 if you want to do it in there. There could be 4v4 in the arena. That's the best 4v4 team. And outside of that, there could be King of the Hill type PvP zones in the open world zones where a certain team, holds like holds the hill basically, and if they hold the hill for a certain amount of time, they get rewards. I don't see why we couldn't do something like that. I think that PvP is fun in the game. I never thought that PvP would be fun to the point where it was like plausibly fun in Diablo 4. PvP was really fun in Lost Ark, and Lost Ark really showed me how PvP was viable in a top-down isometric game. And so I was apprehensive, nervously excited, but apprehensive about PvP in Diablo 4, but it's actually a lot of fun. And so I really just want to see the Diablo team give a bit more attention to that as they're giving all this awesome attention to the PvE side of things. So let me know if you guys are excited about all the new things coming into season 5 of Diablo 4, which is going to be another exciting season. And it's going to be a short season, by the way, running from August until the expansion drops on October 8th, Vessel of Hatred. We're going from season 4 exciting one exciting season into season 5 is going to be an absolutely exciting season going into the expansion. Like it the excitement doesn't end right now. I really love the trajectory of Diablo. So let me know what you're most excited about, what your thoughts are on all of these things. And if you want more content like this, as always, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.